Hello, my name is Xiaoyan. Welcome to How Can We Take on the Next Normal? This is a 7-part series brought to you by GIC, and it is specially designed for anyone who wants to navigate their way forward into an uncertain and unknowable future. If you're looking for a set of solid principles so that you can process your thoughts and figure out your actions forward, then I hope this series will be really helpful for you. This is the third video in a 7-part series. And in this video, we unpack the second principle, focus on value. If you started processing principle 1, which was to take more of a long-term perspective to life, you will very naturally start to focus more on value, because long-term thinking and focusing on values are interrelated concepts. If you don't know your value, if you don't know what you really value, if you don't offer other people things of value, or if you believe you don't have values at all, you would likely struggle to see long-term and act long-term. When it comes to values, there are 4 challenging ideas that might be in the way. The first is the concept of I have worth and value. The second is the concept that I can create and offer something of worth and value to the world. The third is we exist to create worth and value for each other. The fourth is I am willing to pay the price to create something of great worth and value. This will be a great time to hit the pause button for a self or team reflection. Of these 4 challenging ideas, which one is the easiest for me to believe in? And give a reason why. And which idea is the strangest or the most challenging for me to believe in? And also give a reason why. So what is value? I really resonate with Jordan Peterson's definition that value is what you perceive and what you pursue. You can tell what values you actually have by what you choose to perceive or choose to see in the world and what you choose to pursue or take action on in this life. So values are not what you say, but what you see and what you do. Now let's use this definition to better understand what goes on in the story of how someone goes out to set up a successful business. In this interview with Darius Chung, CEO and co-founder of 99.co, he lays out some of the things that stood out for him, things that he saw when he was simply trying to look for a place to rent in Singapore, and he saw how much he hated the experience. He perceived dishonesty. He perceived inefficient use of time. He perceived misinformation. He perceived incompetency. He perceived a system that was encouraging poor business behaviors. So he decided, all right, I'm going to pursue honesty, efficient use of time, open access to information, supporting competency, and better business behaviors and a better business environment. And this personal perception and personal pursuit then became the organization's unique value proposition. You can turn what you see into what you do. And this is how some people, professionals, choose to live their values. Your value can be your offer. Your value can be your proposition to the world. You can say, I see terrible pollution, and that's why I want to do the work of green energy. I value sustainability. And this can play out in so many different scenarios. So a unique business value proposition is not just about money. There is an important difference between price and value. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. Everything will cost you something, whether it's money, or time, or energy, or attention, or health, or opportunities. Everything has a price. And price can be distracting. Price can be scary. But price alone tells you nothing about worth. If we want to make worthy, worthwhile, valuable choices, we have to learn, don't focus on price first. Focus first on value. Now, once you start to think long-term and intentionally declare, I'm going to work towards what I value in the long term. If you do that, you will naturally push boundaries You will naturally challenge people's values and you will change the status quo. And you will be met with pushback and resistance. And of course, it's going to be uncomfortable. And the resistance usually focuses on the price or the cost of the change. And if we focus first on the price of change, rather than the value of the change, we're very likely to back down and lose this precious leadership moment. There's going to be plenty of short-term prices that we'll have to pay for change. It could be a social price of relationships. It could be a financial price. It could be a political price about like power, who has it, who doesn't. And it could be an emotional price. We have to deal with difficult feelings like fear and anger and disappointment and anxiety, and no one likes that. But you want to refocus the conversation on, all right, fair enough, there's a price, but what's the value? There's short-term value, and more importantly, what's the long-term value that we'll get for change? Because there could be social value, there could be new relationships, there could be financial value, new income stream. There can also be a great emotional value that we get for engaging with change, such as deeply satisfying feelings like determination, ambition, joy, excitement, hope. If we are engaged in a conversation like that, where someone is focusing on the price of the change, and that's fair, and you need to hear it out, what you want to do is also literally use the word value in your conversation. Like, hey, I hear you and how much you value stability, but I think you would also value the new insights we will get from experimenting. It's not about overusing the word value in a conversation, but you want to put that on the table as let's talk about values. Now is a great time to hit the pause button for a self-reflection or a team reflection. Consider a long-term work goal, could be personal, could be organizational, a work goal that is meaningful, but it has been quite difficult for you. Explore, why is this goal so valuable to me? Is it related to my values? What is this price that I might have to pay, whether it's in the short term or the long term, to get to that goal? And does the short-term value or long-term value of this goal outweigh the price that I will pay? Now, we've spent some time talking about how we need to focus on value first so that we know whether the price we will pay is worth it. If you happen to be producing something or selling something or offering something to others, you will also need to explore the flip side, which is when we focus on value first, it helps us know whether the price they will pay is worth it. If you look at this price and quality matrix, you can see there's some boxes that you clearly don't want to be in. You don't want to offer low quality and charge a high price because people are going to be really, really unhappy with you. And you also don't want to sit too long in a sense of complacency, like, all right, I'm just going to give you something of medium quality at a medium price. I'm going to give you a high price at high quality. It's like what you see is what you get. You don't want to be complacent because there's going to be other people in the ecosystem, in your environment, who are willing to give, let's say, a high quality at a lower price or a medium price. And that's what allows them to get what they want. Now, if you're in that segment, you also can't stay in there for too long because there's a need to make sure that the price you're charging is sustainable, it makes it worth your while, and it is a happy place, not just for yourself, but it's also a happy place for the person that you're trying to reach, like a customer. Now is a great time to hit the pause button and do a self or team reflection. Consider the product or the services that you're trying to put out there. What is the quality or the value that you're offering to other people? What is the price that you're charging? Is it worth their while? Is it worth your while? And why is that so? So is your pricing strategy sound? Now, some of us may underprice and undervalue ourselves because in the moment or in the season, we somehow cannot command a high market price, perhaps because of mistakes or lack of experience. I want to encourage you to see that your price fluctuates according to other people's beliefs. It is not as objective as you think. There are value seekers out there who you need to find. These value seekers will see the value that you're offering and they would be more than willing to pursue you. And sometimes it's a mismatch of you are offering your value to someone who is not seeking it from you. So the challenge of everyone in the marketplace is to find out who are their real customers. And the real customer is the one who appreciates the value that you want to offer. They would be the ones who are willing to give you the price that you deserve. See, price is subjective. Price is emotional. Price is sometimes totally arbitrary. It is value that is fundamental. The economist Benjamin Graham has this very famous quote, which goes, in the short run, the market is a voting machine, but in the long run, it is a weighing machine. What that means is the market tends to behave like a popularity contest in the short term, and the price will go up and down, depending on how people are feeling. But generally, if you measure over years or decades, over multiple business cycles, when you subtract the psychological factor out, the price movements generally reflect the real value of things. In other words, eventually the fads will all fade out, the frauds will get found out, and what remains are the things of true value. So every successful organization knows that it is about the value game in the long run. So you can have a business like Starbucks, who gets a lot of criticism for offering expensive coffee. And there are going to be people who are saying like, that's not worth it at all. Why are you so expensive? I would never pay you that much. And Starbucks understands that that is not the customer. That is not the value seeker that they are after. Starbucks knows that it is not there to be everything to all people. Its real customer is not the person who only wants to pay $1 for its coffee. There is another person who can provide that service, but Starbucks knows I'm not there for that. If you're a value creator, call out to your specific value seeker. It is those people who you should negotiate your price with because they see what you see. They understand your value. So what does being so laser focused on value creation and value consideration help you to do? How does it help you make better choices? Number one, you want to see that you may find it painful to stand for values, but it is way more painful to stand for no values at all. In a crisis, it is really easy to lose focus of the big picture and the end game. But with values as your focus, you'll be much less likely to lie or massage numbers or fudge information or do all these short-term things that end up biting you in the back for the long term. The second thing is you will find it much easier to stay objective in your decisions and exercise price discipline. But if you have values as your focus, you are less likely to get suckered into paying high for things of very questionable value or the danger of selling too low too soon because you were in a panic and you weren't thinking long term and you weren't making choices based on your values. Then the third is you can be a lot more agile and adaptable with your scarce resources as you sharply decide what do I invest and what do I divest. Scarcity is a real situation. And when you're in real scarcity, you must be very, very clear about what you must do, what you won't do. And when you lean into your values and you're thinking in long term, you would be better able to invest in quick and strategic wins and kill off any costly wins. A strategic win is one which has high value, but it definitely costs really high as well. But it is strategic and you want to put some resources into that for sure. A quick win is high value and it's a really reasonable to low cost. And you want to just make those decisions already because why not? It's a low hanging fruit. It's a quick win. Just do it. Costly wins are those where it costs you a lot and it's actually pretty questionable value or low value. Just kill it off already. Don't buy into sunk cost fallacy. Just get rid of it. Now is a great time to hit the pause button for your last self or team reflection. Use this matrix to unpack what are the quick wins and the strategic wins we want to invest in? What are the costly wins that we want to kill off? Thank you for learning with me today. This was the third of a 7-part series brought to you by GIC. If you found it useful, please watch through the rest of the series and also forward it to someone who you think could need it too. Whatever you do, don't journey into this future alone. I'll see you for the next session.